Egbuka's going to the moon, and this is a player that you can draft as your wide receiver 3-4. You can cuff to Jalen McMillan. You can do all kinds of creative builds by getting this kid on your roster in redraft. But this is not just a redraft show. This is also a dynasty show, because we talk both here on this channel, and you'll find this on the dynasty row as well as the live stream row, as well as a couple other rows, risers and fallers. My YouTube homepage will be organized in ways that make it so easy to find content. But Emeka Egbuka is going to the moon. No, strike that.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars man.
He's going to Mars. He's going to be a top 12 wide receiver in 2025. He's going to be a top 10 wide receiver in Dynasty. And people that don't respect him as an elite wide receiver 3 that might just give you wide receiver 2 numbers. People that say, oh, he can't be a good wide receiver this year, Smitty. He's got to compete with Evans. He's got Godwin, who's injured and can't stay healthy. And how's this going to happen? I'll tell you how. The Fantasy Football Show, live draft edition. We're drafting after this conversation. And then we're going to see where Egbuka goes in the draft. That show, the Graveyard Show, the After Dark Show, begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through whenever news breaks.
From the Fantasy Football Show.
We don't have any news on that one. That just popped up there. I got to fix that so it doesn't immediately trigger that. Guys, I'm telling you right now, you can either get on board this one or not. I'm not going to forgive anybody that doesn't get on this train. You're not forgiven. Redraft, Dynasty, doesn't matter. I'm gonna write Dynasty. He's wide receiver. We'll call it 8 to 10. Redraft. I mean, he could finish a little bit away from this by 2, 5, 10 points, something like that. He could, but I think he dances around the top 12, wide receiver 12. I think he's a borderline guy that you're looking to draft as a JSN 3rd round player next year. So that will put him, I mean, JSN was wide receiver 7 last year and he's going in the 3rd round. So it wouldn't be crazy to see him finish like 12 in redraft, 12 to 14, let's call it. So maybe into the wide receiver 2s, but very well could dance at the 12 spot all year long. 12, 14, 15, 17, 11, 10. He's so electric, this kid. And when people say things to me like, Smitty, he's going to be competing with Mark Evans, and how's he going to do it, Smitty? This doesn't make any sense. And then I have to tell you, oh, that's the wrong piece of news. That's disappointing. Cook will practice. Cook, get off our screen. James Cook, you've already had enough screen time, young man. Where's this piece of news that I had? That I think it was this right here. Yeah. Emeka Egbuka. Let me tell you something about Egbuka. Egbuka lives in crowded backfields. He's molded by them, sculpted by them. He was born with the ability to be in a crowded room. Egbuka's been in crowded wide receiver rooms that are way more talented than Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You might go, oh, what are you talking about? This man played at Ohio State. This man played on the same team as Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jeremiah Smith. This guy has been playing with electric elite talent his whole entire career. He's in a crowded room. He knows how to navigate crowded rooms. He knows how to be useful in crowded rooms. And Baker's already connecting with this kid at such a high volume. I am just screaming from the rooftops on this one. And I don't know how to get any louder, to be honest with you, because when I see this kid's electric play, I see his ability, his smoothness, his route running quality, Baker Mayfield gunslinging, but I see Egbuka all over the field. Precision. His routes are so precise, smooth. I've never seen a smoother operator than this man right here. Ability to, first of all, he's not a body catcher. Looks the ball in, very careful. This guy won't drop footballs. Knows how to catch in stride. Knows how to navigate in space. Just has that body language. You know, I say this all the time, and some people go, oh, it's weird. Sometimes you could just see it in a player's body language. You can see it in the way that they're structured, their physical presence, how they react on the field. Just a small little cut and turn. You can just see it. Like when JJ runs, you just know this guy is just going to be wide open. He's so smooth. Jamar Chase, so smooth. They're just players that have that precision. And he's a precise young man. And when I see him play, even without looking at stats, I just know, watching him, he is one of the most polished wide receivers to come out of college in a long time. And he was my clear-cut number 2 before the NFL draft. From Jump Street, from day one, back before January, really, when we started talking about it and digging into it, January 1, my wide receiver 2 behind Travis Hunter. I've never wavered. It's been Hunter followed by Egbuka, tier break. And Luther Burden was climbing right below Egbuka. And he landed in a very crowded and spot I don't like. But I still like Luther Burden a lot. Not as much as Egbuka. This is a tier break. This is a Travis Hunter, Egbuka tier break. But what about Ted McMillan, Smitty? What about Ted? What about Ted McMillan, Smitty? What about Ted McMillan might be like this. He might not work some weeks. He might not work some catches. I like him, but he's not Egbuka. I like Ted McMillan. I love Emeka Egbuka. Ted McMillan could be a very good wide receiver. Emeka Egbuka can be an elite wide receiver. Big difference. There are 2 wide receivers in this draft class that can be like Ladd McConkey and BTJ and Neighbors and MHJ in some ways, where they infiltrate the top 12 wide receivers for now and the future. Rookie year, they're both in the top 12 for the now and especially the future. There are 2. We say we're spoiled. We'll never see that again. Last year, we're spoiled. We had Ladd McConkey, Marvin Harrison Jr., who are even disappointed. Emeka Egbuka and Hunter, they're not those guys. They are. Maybe we don't have a Neighbors. Neighbors is Jamar Chase. Hunter could be Jamar Chase. Let me just put that out there. But he's more right now, you could say 5 to 10, infiltrating that 5 to 10 range for future wide receivers, Travis Hunter. That's my take. You can take it or leave it. I really don't care. I hope that you like it. I hope you enjoy it. I really do. But I'm going to move right around the hatred and negativity on it because I don't care. I don't care. You don't like Travis Hunter? Good for you. Let one of us draft him that believe in him. You can enjoy the show. Get your popcorn ready. It's always uncomfortable until it isn't. 5 to 10 capability, but he does have that top 5 wide receiver upside, Travis Hunter. Emeka Egbuka, it can be every bit as good as Ladd McConkey. And Ladd McConkey's going at 13, 14, 15, 16 overall in 2025 fantasy football drafts as a sophomore. Mark my words, Emeka Egbuka will be the number 1 drafted Bucs wide receiver this time next year. Over Mike Evans, over Godwin. He'll be the number 1 target. Emeka Egbuka, who dominates situations that look like they can't be dominated, who takes over and finds a way to deliver in situations that feel crowded. He learns how to be reliable, and his hands are amazing. His route running, like I said, on point and precise. And I just have that funny feeling. Oh, Smitty, we supposed to go on your funny feeling? Yeah. This is one of those calls where there's stats, there's data. It's not like we're kicking around. I'll put up his numbers. Egbuka stats. And let's pull that up. It's not like we're kicking around a guy that hasn't delivered, right? It's not like the stats don't matter. They do matter. But I'm almost even tempted to tell you that a 6'1", 205-pound frame, which is plenty big in the NFL. That is Jamar. That's Jamar Chase. He's fine. He is Jamar Chase in size. It's no matter that he's had multiple seasons of massive success. 2023 banged up, and I'll put that. And I'm not worried about any injury history or bringing any of that to the table because he rebounded from it, right? So you're not going to bring up injuries in 2023 when he had an electric 2024. He's had 2,000 yards seasons, one of which was 1151 and 10. The next season that he played a full season, 81 and 10, 11 and 10. Very consistent player. Has the abilities that you learn from kick returning to navigate space in scenarios that other people don't know how to navigate. That's what makes him so gifted. He's been a guy that's bounced around. Use him here, use him here. He needs to fit in somewhere because there's so much talent on this Ohio State roster. You got Marv. You've got Jeremiah Smith. You've got Jackson Smith and Jigba, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. Find a place to be useful. Pull up a chair. Figure it out, Egbuka. Trial by fire. Throw him to the flames. This guy delivers. And this is what makes him so special, is he's able to mold and sculpt to whatever they need him to do, which brings him into the league with the most versatility and NFL readiness out of anybody in this class. He's more NFL ready than Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter has more natural ability and raw physical talent, and that will make him probably even a better player. But this guy's the most NFL-ready wide receiver entering this draft class. And let me make a bold prediction here that if you were to take Emeka Egbuka, pull him from this draft class, throw him into last year's draft class, I would have ranked him probably around 4. I would have danced around the 3, 4, 5, truly. And I think if you, knowing what you know now, take him at end of year and drop him into the wide receiver class from last year, he will rank above Ladd McConkey. He will rank below BTJ, below Neighbors, but right there. Maybe Marv's ahead of him, maybe Marv's not. That depends a lot on the Cardinals and Kyler. I believe he can rank right in that territory. I believe he can go where Ladd McConkey went this year in every draft up to this point, in that 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 range. Might he go a little later like JSN? That's the protective, I think, line of thinking. That is the safe bet, that he is JSN 2025 or 2026, that he goes in the 3rd round and we get him in round 3. We feel really good about it. That's kind of the low expectation, the floor. I think the ceiling is Ladd McConkey. The ceiling is 13, 14, 15, 16 overall. The ceiling is he's a top 10 wide receiver in 2026. 1 year, 1 calendar year from today. Versatility morphs and turns into whatever the team needs him to be. And that's made him stronger than ever, everyone else around him. Now, we're going to get into a draft in a little bit. Real quickly, watch the young man look fluid, catching footballs, decisive, over and over and over. Baker hitting him. He catches the ball. He navigates traffic. And the one thing that makes him better than Ted McMillan and all the other wide receivers combined is his ability to invite contact, his ability to roll contact off him, his ability to execute in crowded environments and find ways to be slippery and find ways, where's the damn thing? There it is. Find ways to grab the ball, turn upfield, and make maneuvers. The ability to grab the football in stride. The ability to, right here, grabs the ball. Watch, right here is where he grabs the ball, turns, finds open space, makes those little subtle, nuanced movements that are just let the person's momentum roll off here. Let the person's momentum roll off here. It's that spatial awareness that makes him so intelligent. You can't teach spatial awareness and intelligence. Michael Jordan was probably the best of all time at spatial intelligence, where he'd jump up in the air, Michael Jordan, invite contact, and use the contact to balance himself out and make a shot and hang higher in the air. Jump up, use contact to push himself further into the air to stay longer, gliding in the air. Jordan did this without knowing. Jordan learned this by playing the game. No one had better spatial intelligence or ever will than Michael Jordan in sports. Maybe Bobby Boucher. Past Bobby Boucher, it is Michael Jordan. And this kid feels like he has the Jordan traits of spatial intelligence to catch the ball, turn, slightly move his body so that a defender rolls off him instead of stops him. And you get this when you do kick return skills, and you learn those skills and you wrap those up and bring those into your receiving repertoire. And this guy literally is one of the best wide receivers I've seen in years navigating space as defenders close in. Love him. Phone lines open. What do you think? Where do you draft Emeka Egbuka? Is he in a dynasty draft going as high as I would take him? Number one, we talked about this earlier, Genty. That's easy. Tier break. He's number one, Genty. 2, this is tough. I think Hunter, and we can do this. We can say like a tie. So 2 tied would be Hunter and Hendy for me. 4 tied would be Harvey and Hampton. And number 6 for me would be Egbuka. He's my number 6 rookie. My number 6 overall rookie. I've got the 6th pick. Might I trade down if the ADP suggests I can get away with highway robbery? Sure. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I don't want to risk it. What if you end up, seeing an injury above him and he gets pulled up? Maybe you just stay at 6 and say, I'm safe here. I can maybe trade on the clock if I feel like I can do that. But why trade now? Why get out of the spot, have an advantageous opportunity to change directions if an injury strikes somebody? Do it live. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Mr. Ron Navy, you're live.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? Sound asleep. You sound half asleep. What do you think about Emeka Egbuka?
I was.
Hey, you just drafted him in our league, didn't you?
Yeah, you know what I think about him. I drafted Hendo, and then I drafted Egbuka right
this
after.
show's tickling your fancy just nicely.
Yeah, it is.
Ron's getting pumped up. This show's just right up his alley. Ron didn't call to argue. Ron called to rejoice.
Stop
Yes.
on the ride.
Yes. I am rejoicing.
Yeah, Egbuka is a wonderful, wonderful prospect. And in Ron's case, Ron is rebuilding in one of his leagues. And he's got you don't have Hendy anymore. You traded Hendy away. But you got Egbuka. Egbuka is one of those players that you put him in your wide receiver room, you water him, you wake up the next season, you might just have the next JSN or Lad McConkey, or maybe even a BTJ. There's definitely the range of outcomes for him is BTJ-ish. It is. His low floor feels JSN, and then like Lad McConkey a little bit above that. And people can get mad over that with the BTJ comparison, but you got to remember that BTJ was not thought to be, no one really had him as high as he is currently ranked. No one thought as a rookie he would finish as wide receiver 4. So we got to be careful not to expect wide receiver 4 numbers, but we also have to be careful to expect that he can't reach heights that people aren't expecting. He is by far and away the most polished wide receiver in the class. I do think that Hunter's talent can trump it, but it doesn't mean that they're not both in a tier of their own. I believe they are. I don't think Ted McMillan's in the same tier as these guys. I like Ted McMillan, and I hate that people think I'm a Ted McMillan hater just because I don't put him number 2. Ted McMillan to me feels like a ceiling value T. Higgins, which, might I remind people, is a player that's going right around 25 to 30. That's pretty damn respectful if you ask me. And that's if things go right. I don't slot him there. I think in redraft, people are out of their mind taking this guy the 3-4 turn or 4.5. I think they're out of their minds. I think Ted McMillan in the 4th round is madness. Absolute straight madness. What else you got, Ron, on this topic?
We were talking about when Tampa Bay got him, and he makes perfect sense there to have. He might not be great at the beginning, but mid-season when Godwin gets hurt or Evan gets hurt, he's gonna have his opportunity, and he ain't gonna relinquish. He's gonna be like, boom, I'm here, I'm staying.
So I told everyone I was gonna drop a prediction tonight that was gonna be kind of bonkers and wild. I haven't even said it yet. I don't know if people think this is the bold prediction. This isn't the bold prediction. This feels like easy stuff. I feel like I'm just pointing out the obvious, but I know that people are going to take this Egbuka stuff as bold. This one's a little bit. This one's going to ruffle some feathers. Let's see here. I believe, and this is going to, like I said, this is going to be kind of wild. I believe that there is a world. I'm not saying that this is guaranteed, okay? I'm not saying that this is a lock. I'm not saying that I don't reserve the right to change my mind if things don't go well. But I believe that the Carolina Panthers' best rookie wide receiver is Jimmy Horn and not Ted McMillan.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard some good things about Horn too. I think you've also talked good about Horn in the past, but I don't think you've ever made that bold prediction. Especially with Croker there.
And you know the people like Dylan in the chat. Dylan, you've been hating the entire time, Dylan. Where's Judkins, Smitty in all capital letters? Where are those rankings? Where's Judkins? Hold on 1 second. Let me add Travis to the call. Lad is different conversation in the tent, London. Let me see. What else you got here? I saw some other hating. Wait. I don't know. Lad, 25% target share. Dylan, you were hating earlier. Just say you're a Tet hater. That was you, Dylan. Dylan, you don't like anything I say. I don't even know why you're here. But you can say what you want about Ted McMillan versus Jimmy Horn, but Jimmy Horn looks fantastic right now. And he is the talk of camp. He's the talk of practice. And there is a world where this coaching staff is already saying, I think Horn might be further along than Ted McMillan. I think Horn has a skill set that is absolutely ludicrous. And he's filthy. And he looks unreal. Now, Ted's been having a pretty solid camp so far as well. No doubt about it. But Horn is maybe a better player than Ted McMillan. I know that's bold. I know that not a lot of people are going to like that. I've never been a huge Ted McMillan fan. I think if all goes well, he has T. Higgins' ceiling value. That's not disrespectful. I just don't know if it's going to work out that way. Horn is a really good player. Horn is got speed and a skill set that I just don't see in Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan's a different player, and they play a different style of ball, but I'm telling you, yeah, Dylan, you're definitely a full-time hater. I think Travis, aren't I right? Isn't he constantly hating?
I mean, he just sees things different, for sure. He gets a little worked up.
Yeah, calm down, Dylan. Calm down.
People don't see things.
Calm down.
Right.
What do you think, Travis, on Horn? What do you think on Jimmy Horn, first of all, before we get to Egbuka?
Yeah, so I like Horn, and you and I usually see things the same, but I'll push back on that.
You like Ted a lot more.
And not to say I don't like Horn, but he's 174 pounds, 5'8". So right there is going to limit what he can do on the field. Now, I hope he proves me wrong. But I think he has good roles to play. I think he played a very good role on that team. I think that if Bryce Young continues to progress, that offense is going to be scary because they have guys that can do all types of stuff in that receiver room. But I still think Ted is a top 15-ish type guy.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be a top 5
I think he could
but
definitely. I think he could definitely get in that range of Ted McMillan of that T. Higgins role if all goes well. If all goes completely well. And we'll see. We'll see. The one thing that Horn doesn't have is a big resume, which is what always concerns me. So admittedly, why I'm even hesitant to have the conversation, it's just when I see him, I see a very talented player. The problem is he brings in no huge resume. He brings in very small sample of stats, but he feels like the kind of guy at the wide receiver position, at least, that could be the outlier on that. But that's where the bold take is coming in. I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's a locked in, stone cold, cemented in, take it to the bank take. But I'm just telling you, if we're on a bold conversation, and I'm talking about Emeka Egbuka being a top 12 wide receiver, and we're on the topic of bold takes, one that has a high probability of missing, I'll admit. You guys want me to come in and just give you cookie cutter? Dylan, is that what you want? You want me to come in and only give you the obvious takes? This is one of the deep calls. This would be one of the calls that you're in a league that allows for taxi squads and you got huge benches. Might want to take a little stab at Horn in case, what I'm seeing comes to fruition.
Plus, Horn already has a hamstring injury, but he can get over that.
He's been so impressive in camp. They've been enamored by him, with him. They've.
Yeah, I think he's a freak athlete. I think he can do a lot of good things. And the way I look at that offense, if Tet can be what he, even 80% of what they hope he can be, and if Coker is still as good as he is, then they have Horn, and who knows what Leggett can do. You're starting to build an offense here that's really interesting.
Yeah, I just think that it's gonna be something that again, not everything can play out. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I see talent in a player, and the team doesn't. This is definitely one of those calls that I see something, I can't guarantee that it's set up properly for him. Like that a guy that's getting drafted, what was he, 6th round pick, that's going to get the confidence of the coaching staff. I don't know. All I know is they're enamored with him right now. What I see on the field is electric. His speed, his quickness, his footwork, just it all translates at the NFL level, but I can't guarantee that they'll use him. Yeah, that's the part that where like you said, I reserve the right to change my mind on it if I don't feel like they're going to roll with it. But from what I see right now, this is one of those players that could break through. And sometimes a team does draft 2 wide receivers for a reason. Why draft? They need depth at the position, but they could bring in a Keenan Allen, or they could bring in, somebody. Why they draft specifically these 2 guys? They obviously like them. You know what I mean? You draft a guy in the 6th round at the wide receiver position. You're not just putting a warm body on the field. There's a specific reason you went after him. And so you're going to potentially give that player a chance that a lot of people are not going to, when we gloss over a topic like this. I'm just telling you, I get a weird feeling when I see him play, when I see him out there on the field. And I just think that if they give him the opportunity, he could be keep in mind that when I came out and said, I did this on NBC Sports Radio, I said, Victor Cruz is going to be a top 12 wide receiver. And people thought I was out of my mind. They're like, Victor who? Victor who? Probably my deepest, and people that have been with me back in the early 2000 days, the 2020 or 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, when I dropped these bold predictions on NBC Sports Radio. When I dropped that Victor Cruz prediction, I was out of my mind to everybody. I was an absolute a-hole. Like, what's this guy talking about, Victor Cruz? Sometimes these players, they're gonna rise. If someone would have said, and I'm not saying Brock Purdy's a good example, but at quarterback, though, he's going to be the starter someday. He's going to get a top 5 QB, top 7 QB salary someday. Like, these are all crazy takes until they aren't, you know? And this is one I cautioned everybody. This is going to be a wild one. I don't know that it's going to play out. This is a Egbuka confidence level of working out. 80, 90%, maybe 90%, 95%. It's high. You know, I want to say 100, but you can't ever say 100. But Egbuka confidence high. This prediction, it's more of like one of those dart throws. I just think there's a chance that this happens. That if they're disappointed in Tet, if Tet doesn't become the player that everybody thinks he could become, this kid could rise up. Watch him carefully. Maybe he gets no run early on and he emerges later. There's a lot of things, ways this could play out. But I'm telling you, keep an eye on him. He's an electric kid. Another one I like is Efton Chisholm. He looks pretty good for the Patriots. He's somebody to watch. Definitely could climb up. Jalen Lane from the Washington Commanders. These are deep calls. He could find his way into a lineup pretty quickly. You guys know, we're talking wide receivers, but make sure you're looking at JCM, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt from the Washington Commanders as well. I think if we stay on the wide receiver front, you're talking about Savion Williams from the Green Bay Packers. He has that Deebo Samuel-esque skill set. These are deep calls. We're in the deep call category right now tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Brashard Smith's a running back.
A lot of people.
Nick Nash.
Kanata Mumfeld, the guy from the Rams. He's the number 2 pickup right now on Sleeper. The tight end, Gadsden, he's the number 5 pickup on Sleeper right now. Looks good.
Yeah.
But like you said, they have all these. They're deep calls for
I'm not in here.
They have to thread that needle and navigate through camp and get a spot. But if they do, look out.
I'm not trying to tell anybody to even necessarily draft Horn. You're in monitor mode in some cases, but you guys want deep calls. Those are my calls. You want a crazy bold prediction. Horn could become something much greater than people even realize, because a lot of people don't even know who he is. Chisholm's good, like I said. Nick Nash, we've talked about him a lot. Travis, you've mentioned him too. I think, Isaac Tesla is pretty interesting. If an injury strikes, they really like him. Jalen Lane, like I said, from Washington, they picked him for a reason, and Adam Peters is so good at scouting talent. You got to take notice on that. Chisholm's interesting because he's so quick, and he reminds me a lot of Cooper Kupp meets, you could say, like Edelman in a way. And he plays for New England, if anybody doesn't know, so that oftentimes will trigger an Edelman comp. But he does have a lot of quickness. So Restrepo is another one. Restrepo, sure, love him. Ayo Manor,
Arian Smith. All these brought up him before. Arian Smith from the Jets. He's in the running for the number 2 wide receiver.
Keep in mind, those are all players. One of those guys, one of them, whether it's Restrepo, whether it's Chisholm, whether it's Tesla, whether it's Horn, Jalen Lane. I said Chisholm already. One of those guys will be much better than the entire world expects. So, you can laugh at the Horn call. It's my deep call. It's just a deep, throw. Or you could just keep tabs on these guys and jump on the train when you see them in any sort of momentum. But those would be the players that I will watch out. I told you guys this would be a deep wide receiver show on top of talking up Egbuka, who's not a deep call at all. But I wanted to throw out some wide receiver names that could help people navigate waiver wires, because a lot of times people say we talk too much about players that are known. Can you throw out some deeper sleepers? Those are a bunch of them. Go ahead. Who said that? Ron? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think by the time training camp comes along, do you think that there's any team out there that will take a chance on bringing in Bond?
I don't know. I wish, bro.
Probably depends on his court case.
I hope.
On
Isaiah Bond was like my 5th ranked wide receiver going into the draft.
Crazy. Like, just sign him, and then crap hits the fan, cut him.
You know the peculiars behind the case, right? Have you read up on it?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
you know, the thing about him is he went straight for it and said, "Look, I'm not scared of the accusations. In fact, I want you to know I'm counter, claiming or whatever, just to let you know how serious I am that these are false allegations." And look, it's crazy. The hit he took to not get drafted. I mean, the amount of money he's missing from that alone, on top of maybe his whole career is gone. I just don't understand why a team. I mean, the Chiefs are okay with this kind of stuff, Why can't a team pick this kid up and just say, look, he's innocent until proven guilty. The NFL treats it that way, and he's now free. So, like, who cares? You could maybe put something in his contract that says if you're, guilty of these things, then we're going to void your contract. Like, I don't understand. I don't even get it. If I was especially a team like the Buffalo Bills, who don't, I love Keon Coleman, and I truly hope he becomes something. But that is a great attempt for a team like the Buffalo Bills, who never draft wide receivers. And you can now get one that I projected to be a second-round talent. You can now get a second-round grade type talent, easily second-round grade type talent, free, and put it in his contract. But everyone's so scared to be mixed up with him right now. It's a shame, man. It is such a shame.
Yeah. Well, look what the Bills did. Look what the Bills did with the rookie kicker, right?
Yep.
Before anything was even through. Saying that, I mean, they got rid of him. His career was ruined right from the beginning. And later on, he was proven innocent.
Yeah.
Is he with the Chiefs now? Is that who's
number one kicker? Huh?
He with the Chiefs now, or where did he end up? He's back in the NFL.
Yeah, he finally got a chance, but I mean, Buffalo just like boom. As soon as the accusations hit, they like, you're gone.
Yeah,
they didn't want nothing to do with it.
Man. It is too bad that you can't be innocent until proven guilty. I mean,
and it's
go ahead.
It's bad. It's bad because I mean, things like that do happen in reality, and these people need to be, whether they're pro athletes or not, they should be held accountable. But there's also, because they're pro athletes, so many false allegations or allegations that are just out there just for the money.
Yeah,
grab.
but you can protect yourself as a team and just say, look, when Deshaun Watson signed his contract, they put it in that all of the cases that were known, as long as he told them up front, would not void his contract. But any case that he didn't tell them about that popped up, they would say we could void your contract if there's a new case. So be honest with us now, or at least in middle of them, and we'll include it. And so I know you can make contracts in ways that can protect you. So just say you're innocent, okay? If you're convicted or whatever, or if this ends up being this way or whatever, then you're void or whatever. But he's practically free anyway, so who cares? This is pockets at this point to just pick him up, and he'd play for anybody.
It almost
the minimum.
It almost tells me that.
I mean, look at all the places he can go.
NFL, it almost tells me the NFL handed down a mandate and said no one draft him, because you're telling me not one team would sign him as an undrafted free agent right now. Nobody.
Yeah, Travis, you stole my thunder on that. This is DJ.
No.
Just jump in.
What's up, DJ?
I couldn't tell it was
What's
DJ.
going on, gentlemen?
What's up?
Yeah, I mean, one, Smitty's point, just from a, ROI into the league, you're getting a penny on a dollar. You can come front and center and say, this is what it is. I don't think anybody would fault you. I certainly get it from a moral standpoint. But wait a minute, we're still talking about the NFL. Morals, honesty, line of smoke moving parts. So it makes no sense to me, from a standpoint of bring him in. We're not saying he's innocent, guilty, but this is a business. He's talented, but yet we'll identify other athletes who have either had manslaughter, and I won't go down that rabbit hole. So, Who's making these
At least
decisions?
he didn't gamble. I mean, that's the cardinal sin, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's what people get most trouble for is gamble.
Especially on the premises. All right. Well, anyway, let's move on to a different topic. DJ, what do you think of Egbuka?
Listen, the reason why he was in Ohio State and still doing his thing with all those receivers is because he could play slot and he can also play outside. You know, if Godwin, and it seems like he is, going to be out early part of the season, well, you know, he's going to eat in the slot, but he can also line up outside, just like JSN. You know, Cooper Kupp is coming in. Of course, he's going to be sliding into the slot. JSN will be outside and still produce. So this is why, Egbuka, and to your point, in terms of just skills, you know, technician, you know, he's ready. So I like him in terms of, you know, your ranking wide receiver even next year. I think he could be the number one wide receiver out of this draft class, notwithstanding, you know, Hunter's upside.
he's got tremendous upside.
Scores like crazy.
Yeah, he's gonna be good, man. I mean, and he comes from a factory of producing wide receivers. You know, LSU and Ohio State just crank them out.
Yep.
And what's even more amazing, is when, you know, a wide receiver like Egbuka, you're talking about him going in and playing with a Hall of Famer and Mike Evans, Hall of Famer, and Godwin's, you know, really, really good. He just can't stay healthy. And when you say his college wide receiver competition was tougher than his pro competition, especially at Mike Evans' age and Godwin's injury risk, that's saying something crazy when you really think about it. You know, this guy's used to playing with more crazy competition. You know, he's walking into a game to him. This is a game. This isn't pressure and he's going to crack or crumble under the pressure. This is a guy that is a amazing route runner that's walking into a situation where Baker Mayfield already loves him. There's so many highlight films. When you look at the highlight films of, and again, this is not to try and knock or tear down Tet McMillan. I've already said 10,000 times, if Tet, everything goes right for him, he can be T. Higgins. He's never going to be a top 5 wide receiver, in my opinion, but he could be T. Higgins. He could be a really good elite 2 on a team that's probably going to have a better player than him eventually. I think it's very much like Michael Pittman Jr. If they try and put Tet McMillan on this pedestal, I think it could maybe stunt where he could go. I think that's what everyone kept saying. Pittman's going to be a wide receiver 1. He's never a wide receiver 1, and it held him back to be put in that position. I believe that you have a player in Egbuka that he's just going to gravitate toward the competition. He invites it. He's got Baker Mayfield. What I was trying to say is, when you look at the footage of these guys in practice and in camp, and I know they're in shorts and I get all that, but there's still a science to it. They're still watching their fluidity. There's their precision and the way they catch the ball, the way they look at the ball, the way they don't body catch it, the way they catch it in momentum, you know, and just navigate space, all that. And when you watch Travis Hunter, and it is insane. I'll pull up the Travis Hunter clips on my IG. I've never seen anything like this before in my life coming from camp. Look how high he is off the ground. Look at his athleticism. And some might say he didn't need to jump that high on that one, Smitty, but I have never seen a player move like him in camp. Everybody's got camp footage, and Travis Hunter's looks unreal. And Tet McMillan as well. I can just tell watching him, he's different. He moves different. Travis Hunter moves different. Egbuka moves different. They move in such a special way that, you know, once they get fed, once they gain more experience, they're just going to become even better technicians at their craft. But I think that Egbuka reminds me of a veteran because of all the competition and adversity and moving around that gave him that experience. It's like breaking your right arm and you're right-handed, and you got to learn how to use your left hand. And then once your left hand, or once your right hand heals and you take your cast off, now all of a sudden you can use both your hands. I feel like Egbuka's like that, being shoved around everywhere, learning this position, learning how to do this. It all made him better. He just became ambidextrous with everything.
Love that analogy. That's like right on point. You know, exactly.
Matthew, I'm sorry, bro. Matthew, call back in again if you want to break in. He called in and I put him on hold for forever. Hold on one second, DJ. If you don't mind muting yourself, let me go over to Bruce. You're live, Brucey. What can I do for you? Matthew, call back in if you're free.
Hey, Smitty, do you think I'm crazy to think Egbuka is going to finish higher than Hunter as a receiver?
No, you're not crazy. I mean, like I said, Egbuka's more NFL ready, and Hunter's bleeding with a little bit more talent, and anything can happen, you know. And then you mix in the fact that, you know, they do want to use him on defense a little bit, but that's not going to necessarily change anything in my mind. But Egbuka's going to maybe get more targets if he's in there from day one. The thing about Godwin being injured right now and not being ready probably for week 1, we'll see how everything goes. He could be in there in week 4. He could be in there in week 5. He could be in there in week, earlier than we expect. It's still a long time for them to make that determination. But as far as I know, I don't think he'll be ready for week 1. I think Egbuka isn't just going to be removed. I think what they do is they move him around, which is what he's been doing his whole career. But that'll be fine by him. And I think Baker has already developed such a good rapport in camp with him that you're going to see Baker develop this early rapport with him. And even if Godwin comes back and stays healthy, which is a tall order, I mean, if you told me, name 2 players that will be injured this year and miss massive amounts of games, it's Christian McCaffrey, it's J.K. Dobbins, and it would be Chris Godwin. So I think Egbuka is going to carve out a role no matter what, and Egbuka is going to be. You're not going to take him off the field. This is like Ayuk's going to come back mid-season. He's going to start the year on PUP. You think Ayuk, who's getting paid $30 million a year, he's got to be the starter, right? He's got to be the top 1 or 2 wide receivers, right? Wrong. When Ayuk comes back, they aren't pulling Pearsall or Jennings off the field. So I think, given that Tampa can easily run 3 wide receiver sets all day, if not 4, they can run quads. Egbuka's not leaving the field, Godwin there or not. If anything, Godwin being on the field, not, getting eased back in. Let's say he's not ready till, I don't know. What's the current word, Travis, if you can look that up real quick on his prognosis? Godwin, what week he's expected to play. But let's say he comes back in week 5 or something. Probably won't be Godwin in week 5. Probably won't be Godwin in week 6. Maybe he starts getting into his groove week 7. Or if it's probably going to take a couple weeks. And Egbuka is going to be so polished by then. I think Egbuka is going to be amazing. And as for his slotting here, 6 is about, and Bruce, I think, I would never draft him over Hunter, obviously. But if you miss out on Hunter and you get Egbuka, you can be excited that there's that upside that he could be the best wide receiver in the class. I love Hunter though. I love them both, bro. I'd be intrigued to rebuild in a team using Hunter, Egbuka, and another wide receiver, young wide receiver like Marv. That would be a fun build.
Yeah,
I like Egbuka with
who, Ron?
I like Egbuka with Baker better than I like Hunter with T.
Trevor. Yeah.
Right now.
I could see that. That's kind of why, I think Egbuka blows up. He's got Baker. And Baker looks good right now. Baker's throwing the ball really well in practice, and he's throwing missiles down the field. He's so fun to root for. He's just such a dog, man. I mean, the comeback is amazing. Rain, is it crazy? No, it's not Rain. Rain, it's not crazy that, I mean, hold on one second. This is not crazy because this was what I said at the beginning of the show, and we talked about it already, Rain. I mean, this is like stealing the opening line and asking me back. Yeah. Smitty, is it crazy to say Hunter and Egbuka finish as top 12 wide receivers? That's what the whole show is about. So make sure you rewatch it back. Who was talking?
That was me.
Oh, what's up, Brucey? No problem, Rain.
Yeah, we made something in our house called Baker Letter Maker because we like Baker.
Yeah, Baker touchdown.
Oh, we had I have something on Egbuka. If you only like Genti, and as I said, I think Egbuka is going to finish as the number 1 receiver. If you get the 1.2, would you trade down and say, hey, I'm going to trade down for Egbuka, or would you sit there and say, at 1.2, I'm just going to take Egbuka?
No, because, come on, Bruce, I just answered this. No. Bruce, what's wrong with you lately? I just said that. I just said you obviously can't draft Egbuka over Hunter. Look, Bruce, this is really easy. If you don't buy a $400,000 house for $700,000 just because you know someday it'll be worth $1 million, you have to play the game properly. The best move for you is to take Hunter or Hendy or whoever and trade back into round 1 somehow. The thing is, I'm bold as hell at Egbuka and I'm putting him 6. So where do you think he really falls in the pecking order, Bruce? Nowhere near 6. All you got to do is trade into price 7 or 8 and you can get Egbuka. Because you got Ted McMillan going ahead of him 10 times out of 10, it seems. You've got, potentially a tight end, maybe Judkins. Egbuka's not a lock to go 7 at all. You could probably get Egbuka. Ron, where did you draft him? Now, granted, this is in a The Fantasy Football Show follower-based type of league. It's filled with a bunch of the community. But where did
the rookie draft? But
oh yeah,
he was 1.7 or 1.8, one of the two.
And that's in our community where we're hyping Egbuka up every day. He's on the Marsman list. So in a real world setting, bro, Rain said he got him at the 1.10. DeBolt got him at 1.7, but that's probably on the high side. So you're getting him probably 7 times out of 10 at 8 overall. So for you to take him at 2 is like walking up to a vending machine and it says $3 and you put in a gold coin. Right, Ron? Put in a gold coin and pay for your soda with a $3,400 coin. You just can't do it. You can do so much more damage by being smart about it. Egbuka he's number 6 in my book. No one's going to have him that high, bro. Nobody. You take Travis Hunter, and trading down is not even smart either, because I think you can just take Hunter or Hendy or Hampton. You're not going to get a lot of shots at that type of player, bro. It's such a good running back class. And Hunter is so explosive. Just trade back into pick 8. It's not that hard to trade into pick 8. You could surrender a future first rounder. You could give up all your fab. You could trade a player with the first rounder. You could surrender your next 2 years of first rounders if you want, if you're allowed to trade that far ahead. Go get the 8 pick. 8 is pretty comfortable. And if you don't get Egbuka, if you go 7, so be it. You'll get a really good player that you'll still like. But at least don't go past 7. Take 7 and take him there. Because 6 is I'm crazy for liking him 6.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't know how to.
Yeah.
If I should how to like trade back in, or
But
how I've thought.
But keep in mind how much I love Hunter, bro. All I got to do is a Hunter show, and then you want to draft him again. We'll get you excited about him again. Yeah, I love Egbuka. Don't get me wrong. This is an Egbuka-based show, but don't be drafting him 2 overall. That is an unnecessary move. And I don't like the idea of trading down unless you're getting something significant. Like, let's say somebody's giving you Breece Hall to trade from 2 to 6. You're giving up Travis Hunter or Hampton or Hendy to get Breece Hall and Egbuka. Then it makes sense. But you have to get something that significant. When people trade down from 2 to 6 and they get second rounders and BS like that, and they call in and they start apologizing and making excuses. Like, Smitty, I traded down. You're probably not going to like this, but the reason I did it, the moment someone says the reason I did it, I know they're just trying to dress it up the best they can because they royally screwed up. Nobody should be trading down in a rookie draft for second-round picks. Second-round picks don't do crap. Kick rocks. You need something significant. You want to go get Hampton Harvey? You need a Breece Hall. You want to come up and get a Hampton or Harvey? I need you to give me a player like Marvin Harrison Jr. You want to come up and get Hampton or Hendy or Travis Hunter and give me your 6th pick? You better give me a massive quarterback upgrade. You better give me Bo Nix for free. That's what you need to do. So if you do want to trade down from 2 to 6, Bruce, to get RJ Harvey, I don't hate it if you're getting something amazing. So just make sure you're not underpaying or overpaying. Hey, Bruce, next time you have something like that, if you're going to cook anything up, please call into the show and let's break it down before you do it, all right?
Well, the funny thing is there's the guy that has the 6th pick, and I have the 2. He has MHJ. So I don't know if I should say give me MHJ and give me the 6 and I'll give you the 2.
I mean, you can ask. I mean, Travis, would you do that trade? I mean, I'm not even sure I'd necessarily do it. I just traded 2 first-rounders for Travis Hunter. And I feel like I stole them. You know, so I mean, I don't know. I like Travis Hunter so much. MHJ is good though.
Especially if he's got, I don't know who Bruce has that wide receiver, but if he's got another, top 10 wide receiver, I might just go with Hunter. But
yeah, who would your wide receivers be? How much would it help you?
My number 1 is JSN.
And then who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Pickens.
And your number 3?
Number 3 is DK. And then I got Evans. So I would have.
Oh, you got a ton of.
It was a startup, but you got to take all the old timers too. And
yeah,
I was
but
taking,
bro,
like old timers.
You only have one. You only have one old timer. DK's still fine, and Pickens is good, and JSN's young. I don't think you give yourself Travis Hunter. You got a really good wide receiver room. I don't know, but I don't hate the move. I think what I'm doing, if I'm
you get the 6th pick without giving up the 2 pick.
Here's what I would do though. Let me rephrase this though, Travis, because it sounds like you're on the fence, and I don't blame you given his wide receivers. What if he takes Harvey, who's easily falling to 6 now, and gets MHJ? Harvey and MHJ for Travis Hunter. Totally different.
Yeah, well, and I was even thinking with his wide receiver room that, JSN and Hunter or MHJ, Egbuka and JSN. I kind of like that better.
I mean,
I think I might do the trade.
I'd take MHJ and Harvey. I wouldn't be. I mean, as much I love Egbuka, if you're getting MHJ and you got these wide receivers here, who are your running backs, bro?
My running backs are not that good. I think I got like Jalen Warren. I got Benson.
So you need running back. I like Benson, but you need running back.
I need running backs.
Yeah, if I'm you, I would trade the 2 overall for the 6 if you could get MHJ, and if you got to throw in a 2nd rounder, do it. That's nothing. Now, if you don't get that,
I was debating on giving up the 2nd overall and maybe a future 1st, and then trying to trade up to get Genty, and then have Genty be okay.
Let's do that first.
I was very, very scared.
Let's go get Genty first, but if not, just take, and I think this is what Travis is probably going to say, take Hendy instead of taking a wide receiver. You're good at receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very scared.
All right, guys, get into a best ball mania. Let's get into a best ball mania right now. Underdog promo code Smitty. Click on the originals tab at the bottom. I'm going to hit the green button now. Do it live. Get in. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000 by using code Smitty. The link inserts code Smitty for you. Do it live. Jump into a draft. Best Ball Mania. Don't get into this draft. That's okay. Get into the next one. Get into the one right alongside of us. Use the process. Sometimes it's better to not be in the same draft. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bruce. What were you saying?
Don't be scared of getting guys like Genty, Bruce. You know, if you have to give up a good player in a future first rounder, that's fair.
Yeah, that's what I was scared of what I would have to give up for Genty. I didn't know if he would say, okay, give me number 2 overall, DK, and next year's first. I was going to be like, am I overselling?
I do that. Wouldn't you, Smitty?
What's the deal?
DK.
It was.
Yeah. What was it, Bruce?
It was like I said. Like I was gonna be scared if I had to offer something like DK, the number 2, and to go up a slot, and then next year's first.
DK, the number 2, and next year's first for Genty. I would give up that.
Harpy, I would.
You got Bruce. You gotta realize how good Genty is, man. You know, and even if
you get a running back,
it's worth the risk, bro. It's just it is. Yeah, your running back room is not the greatest, so it's worth the move, bro.
My running back room is the worst room I have. Is my running backs.
On the clock.
Genty.
Lamb, JJ, Chase are gone. Bejan, Neighbors. I'll go Bejan here. I'll go Bejan here. I don't have as many Bejan teams as I would like, so I need to do that anyway. Because I've been drafting so much Lamb, Chase, JJ. I take Gibbs a lot. I take Genty a lot. I don't take and it's not because I don't love Bejan. I just happen to miss out on him when I'm gonna go RB. So this is good. This is a good. I just hope I get. Yeah, I'll get the wide receiver I want. I'll be fine. There'll be a Garrett Wilson. There'll be a MHJ. This will be interesting to see if I go RB, tight end, or wide receiver at this 20 overall pick. This is a best ball mania.
Hey, Smitty, did you get into the Golden while it was open?
Every time I tried, bro, it didn't fill, and I didn't want to miss it, so I'd leave the draft, and then I'd go back in when I had time, and they didn't have slow Golden, so I couldn't ever.
Because you only enter one.
I didn't want to risk it of missing and timing out, so I'm like, I'll come back to it. Otherwise, when I do that and I go, I'm working here, I'll enter it and I'll be working, typing away, and I'll look down and I'm like, auto drafting. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I didn't. Don't auto on an HN. God, he autoed on HN, bro. God, I hate that when someone's not even paying attention and they auto on your player.
The Schnauzer's shoes out too for $100,000. That's only $3 a draft.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Smitty.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does Tampa have a quad box or a triangle?
I mean, you
like
quad.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Let me answer these super chats real quick. I'm so sorry, guys. I've been making Coble wait this whole time. Travesty, appreciate you. Rockout's got a super chat. I'm so sorry, guys. Coble, Travesty, Coble, are you here still? Rockout, thank you. Coble, you're still here, bro. I'm so sorry, man. Let me see. Coble dropped. He dropped so many of them tonight. I don't know why my alerts were off on this. Aaron, I see your super chat. I'm sorry about the wait. Let me get all these on screen. Matt, appreciate you, Matt, dropping the super chat. You're a beast, bro. And then I'm on the clock here.
Coble dropping tons.
Yeah, Coble is dropping massive super chats tonight. All right, let me get these super chats. Let me make this pick, and then I'll answer these super chats. Garrett Wilson goes here. I can't catch a break. JSN or Kyron? Got no wide receiver, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna go JSN
play
here.
JSN.
On a plane, had to hang up on another show later tonight. Won't be on another show later tonight. It's 11:20 p.m. my time here, and 2:20. But Matt, call in again, okay, bro? Appreciate you. Aaron says, if Pet loved football and tape, would he move up in my rankings or my book? I mean, look, that's not the only thing. I mean, that not loving film and not loving football for a while, at least. I'm not saying he didn't start to last year or something because that footage was old, but it definitely, I think, held him back from learning some of the ins and outs of the game. I mean, imagine Kobe Bryant not watching, the greats, or, imagine the guys in today's NBA not watching Jordan or watching ball. You learn a lot from that. You decide to do moves based on it. Like, if you don't watch football and don't even enjoy it, I know there's certain people that have done that. Like Tyreek Hill says he doesn't watch, and Tyreek Hill trolls people too. He says he doesn't watch film, and he just watches plays Madden and looks up people's speed scores. That's BS. He watches film in the pros. They make you. If Ted had some of the, we'd see, I think, a few things that he'd do that I would like a little bit better. But Ted, I don't like a lot of things about Ted's game, but it doesn't mean he can't fix those, and that's why I definitely think there's upside for him. Next pick up here: Xavier Worthy, Jaden Daniels, Travis Hunter, DK Metcalf. Metcalf just went. I like Travis Hunter here. I like JD5 here too, though. But I'm gonna go Travis Hunter. So I got Hunter and JSN. I got McBride and Bejan. Not bad. Tet is too high. Coker will command targets. I like Coker too. I think, I don't think Horn grabs anything soon. Just to be very clear about my Horn, bold, deep call. Okay, that's going to be something in time. Horn's not going to go into week 1 as the wide receiver 2 or anything like that. So he's going to have to climb. Injury might strike. Horn could be a diamond in the rough. That's all I'm telling you. So, yeah, Coker's going to definitely command some targets. I like Coker a lot. Thielen's still there. It's actually like a mediocrely crowded wide receiver room. So there's a lot of weapons there for Bryce Young. Cobal's still here, right, Travis? Did he end up saying he's still here?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay. Cobal, I'm so sorry about making you wait on these, bro. I appreciate you. What's your thoughts on trading a 26 picks for 27 picks? Because of Jeremiah Smith, I think is what you're after. I'm hearing the 26 class is a real weak compared to 27. It seems too far out to make a decision. I think we got to be careful listening to people talk about a class that hasn't played football for in this most recent college year. I think it gets a little dangerous when people are making that kind of call before players jump out at you. Sometimes players have one huge big year in this, this upcoming season. Like it'll always be a great year. It'll always be fruitful. Don't get carried away on that, especially if you don't know where those picks are going to be. Jeremiah Smith is. Look how hyped Caleb was 2 years before Caleb went out. It came out. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is here. Take RJ Harvey. What's your thoughts on trading? Oh, that's the one I just read. So yeah, I'm okay with it, Coble, if it's a good deal. But any deal I'll do if it's a good deal. But I'm not like in the business of, oh, this class is gonna be weak. We haven't even seen them play the season out yet. It's crazy talk.
What about if it's like I'll give you my 26 for the 27 first, just straight up swap them back.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind that if your team's great and his team's bad. That's a great move because you're already going to have a bad pick and you're trying to get a 27. I'm fine with that. I like that. That's good. But yeah, if I'm not trying to get into that draft class and ruin, like if you told me I could have the number 1 pick in 26 or the number 4 guaranteed, or even the number 3 guaranteed in the 27 class, I'm taking the 1.1 in the 26 class. I promise you, though, it will be fruitful. It always is. I've been scouting Egbuka 2 years. He is him, says Rock Out. Damn straight Rock Out. Coble with another one. Egbuka will be next year's JSN. Bet on the talent, absolutely. That's his floor. So my example was he gets drafted in round 3. In the worst of scenarios, we're talking about Egbuka, and he gets drafted where Ladd is in the middle of 2 in the best of scenarios. Got offered Ladd for Hunter in 26 second. I'd rather have Hunter. I know I might be in the minority there, but I'd rather have Hunter than Ladd. I think Ladd is overvalued tremendously. Oh, Burrow fell. I got to take Burrow here. Bejan, Harvey, Trey, McBride, JSN, Travis Hunter. No stackage, but Burrow's just a steal here. Just absolute highway robbery. That's a good team. I love how well we're aligned on prospects, says Coble. Rebuild Hometown Dynasty League. Genty, Hunter, Egbuka, Burden, and Noel. I like it, bro. And Coble, thanks again. I'm sorry I made you wait, bro. I'm disappointed in myself that I let these super chats hang out too long. I don't want to discourage people from dropping supers, so I promise I'll stay on top of it.
I should have seen them.
And especially as we get into the super chat mode here, I'm definitely gonna take care of them. But this year I'm gonna do a better job, I vow, to hitting super chats and keeping the show entertaining instead of just reading super chats for 2 hours. Seeing more Hunter hate out there. They still think he's playing tons of defense. I just don't get it. Will gladly buy on the dip. Get the talent. That's right, Coble. Coble's speaking facts tonight. And he's doing it via super chats. He's doing it via super chats.
Let him cook.
And his last message as I'm on deck, pulled off the Triple H today. I'm pulling it off like clockwork now that Harvey's dropping. It's so easy to get now. On the clock here. Don't like anything sitting here at all. I'm literally looking at every player. I don't want a single player for 14, 15 picks. I'm going to double QB this and go Burrow, Mahomes, and Bully. I bully quarter. I have Mahomes in like 90% of my leagues, probably. I just can't stop because in this 7th round, I don't like anybody but Egbuka, which I should have taken because he's the man of the hour. That's on me.
I saw Coble's comment in the chat, and I wanted to speak to that. He had mentioned Horton, when you're speaking about Horn, some of those receivers around that area. Thumbs up on that. I'm liking Horton.
Damn.
MVS is ahead of him. I don't see any reason why he won't jump him.
Yeah.
Opposite of JSN.
What's it book is
So it was a good call that Coble had, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That I saw earlier.
Hold on one second, bro. Hold on one second. What was Egbuka's ADP? I mean, he was down there a ways, wasn't he? He's at 93 overall. Man, you took him at 79.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
I thought I was
going on.
Yeah, I mean, I could have taken him
down in the same round.
Yeah. So that for anybody wondering why I didn't draft Egbuka, it's because his ADP was nowhere near 77. But we're in Snipeville. But, based on who was in the ADP range, which you're fine reaching to get your guys, but it's also smart to play the ADP game. But that's probably one of our people, and I honestly didn't think that was I didn't think
is Ayuk's ADP is that high? Or did someone reach on him?
Who?
Brandon Ayuk, he went 84. Is Ayuk's ADP that high?
I timed out on Brian Robinson, mother effer. Damn it.
Blame me, distracted.
Who's ADP, Travis? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. I was too busy timing out.
Brandon Ayuk, he got taken 84. I was wondering, is his ADP
I don't know.
Really that high?
People aren't using their brains, bro. Ayuk. You got to start the year off on the PUP. This is what Justin argues with me about all the time, that Ayuk is worth. Loved how the team turned out. Was also able to cuff Hendy for cheap. Nice work, bro. Man, I just ruined my team. Just ruined my team. Now, you could say, Smitty, Brian Robinson Jr. is not that bad. I don't care. I didn't want him.
All right.
I didn't want him. Love how Mahomes falls. Rice, Pat, Kelsey, easy nab. Attaboy Coble. Coble keeps speaking facts tonight. Damn Brian Robinson Jr. Son of a B, man.
I'll get you some touchdowns. No, you don't want.
You gonna be good, says Dylan. Not surprising, Dylan.
Of course, Dylan.
Of course you do. Of course you do, Dylan. Damn it, man. All right, who do I have? I have Bejan, JSN. Man, I could have used that. I could have used a receiver there. Now I got to look at. This is kind of throwing off everything. Gosh, dang it, man. Do I go Luther Burden here as my wide receiver 3? I need another one. Or do I go? Yeah, I kind of. Damn it. I'm gonna go. I guess I could go Keon Coleman. I do like that, but I'm gonna go Luther Burden.
Oh, Coleman would have been good.
They're both pretty good. I like that Luther Burden is Ben Johnson's guy. I think he's going to play in the slot. I think he's going to be all over the field. I think he could end up being the most targeted wide receiver. I still like Adunze a lot, but I do think Luther Burden's going to bring some versatility.
Ron, did you say Coleman would have been good or wouldn't have been good?
I think you should.
I would have liked the Coleman pick there.
What lobby do you
okay.
draft in?
I would have liked Coleman.
Coble, we're in
he looked pretty good in camp this year.
We're in the Best Ball Mania. Coble, thank you. Yeah, I like Coleman a lot.
Yeah.
I like Coleman a lot.
I want to see what that wrist injury actually caused, because maybe he was going to be a top 10 receiver, and then the wrist cost him to.
I hope we're right on him. I hope at the end of the day we're right on Keon Coleman, because I'm telling you, if we all transform ourselves back into transport ourselves back into the preseason and the July, August, September timeframe before week 1, he was so dominant. I know people want to pretend he wasn't, because people love to hate. They love to hate on a player that did bad. I'm telling you, he was absolutely dominant.
Like Bruce just said, and I'll be the first to admit if I end up being wrong on it, but I'm convinced that week 7 and 8 where he had 125, and then he had 70 with a touchdown, then he got hurt that next game. I'm convinced that was him starting to catch up and break out, and injury threw him off. He just never quite got back.
Yeah.
And him and MHJ are 2 guys I'm sticking with from last year that didn't live up to their ADP or their expectations.
And Keon Coleman from that 9-round territory, 9-8 round territory, he goes to 9 or 10. You know, exactly. He'd have the MHJ season, 807 or 808. Like, he could do that and still earn that value there, you know, so he'll be pretty good. So far, my team.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so far, my team is not bad, but I'm on the clock here in a second. Kyle Williams is there. I got to take him. So I got Kyle Williams, Luther Burden, Zach Charbonnet, timed out on Brian Robinson Jr. Who would I have taken there? I would have maybe gone Bo Nix and went triple bully, or I would have went Travis Kelce probably anyway. So I don't know.
You can recover from that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Brian Robinson.
It could have been worse.
Maybe he'll get.
It could have been worse.
Just can't believe that. It was one of those things. I'm reaching over my mic bar, and whenever I'm trying to like swipe and draft, I just need to check them, and then if it times out, and then try and draft them. But I always think, oh no, I'll get it, and I reach over, and then my finger's at a different angle, and I swipe it, and I go to hit draft, and it swipes the bar back, and I'm like, no, and then I just swiped it, and then it screws me up. It's insane.
Last year,
what I was.
He started with I think 6 touchdowns in his first 7 games, and he only had 2 for the rest of the season.
Jay says, "Am I the only one who thinks Bejan's going to go crazy this year?" Yeah, Jay. You're all my.
Never thought of that.
I was just gonna say this, Smitty. You're Brian Robinson Jr. Maybe they brought in Cross Ski Merritt, and now he's gonna be like, okay, now I'm gonna get my shit together and take my job.
Maybe.
So he doesn't lose it.
You gotta step up.
That's probably one of the funniest comments I've read in a while, bro. You made me laugh. I'm gonna take Penix Jr. on that note. I love having 3 really good quarterbacks. Let's see. Oh my God, I didn't check the bye weeks. 10, 10, 5. Yeah, I knew Penix was 5 because I drafted him a lot. But anybody think Bijan's gonna have a good year? Jay, what the hell, Jay? I know I might be by myself on this one, but I'm really thinking that Bejan, who finished with 2 touchdowns back to back to back, 6 touchdowns in 3 games under Penix Jr.'s command. Just thinking outside the box. Don't roast me on this, but I really think Bejan could become pretty good this year. I'm just kidding with you, Jay. Kinda.
Well, I think Coleman can be like a 2, right? I mean, MHJ didn't have a bad year. I mean, his stat line was good, but I think that could be Coleman's maybe next year.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll ever be a number 1.
My guess is he's going to have 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's what I'm guessing for Coleman. Might be high, but I think he can.
So if you're getting him, in that area, why not? I mean, it makes sense from an ADP standpoint.
Rain says, "Am I crazy to think Chase is going to be a top wide receiver next year?" You're a little out of pocket on that one, my boy. Let's calm down on that. Let's not get too excited about Jamar Chase. Is Jay commented back or is he mad at me? I haven't seen him.
He commented back, but he dropped a curse word. So, but basically, he said, "I'm a 3-year Bejan investor. I can pop my ish now."
Oh. I just
I've been
pictured.
rocking Bejan for 3 years. I've been through the trenches with this.
I just pictured.
He's been pretty good.
I pictured a guy leaving that comment was the reason we haven't heard from him yet. Is he's typing with 2 fingers like this? Listen, Smitty. I was just saying, chill out, okay?
I like how Jay says he's been through the trenches with Bejan. I mean, he's been RB9 and RB3. I don't exactly call it trenches.
He says he's been in the trenches with Bejan? Well, so have we.
I've been rocking with Bejan for 3 years. I've been through the trenches with this.
I mean, we all have. Okay? Jay's acting like he's been the only one in the foxhole. We've been sitting in the foxhole too, my boy. This is getting a little rough. I like Michael Wilson Jr. quite a bit here. I'll cue him up. Let's go, Michael Wilson. My wide receivers are not what I want them to be. The Brian Robinson one I don't even know who I would have taken there, though, so I can't really blame, I guess, everything on Brian Robinson. It was only Cooper Kupp that went in between. But, I think I would.
Where did he go?
Who?
Besh?
No, maybe I'll have to look. My team so far is Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Penix Jr. I got Bijan Harvey, Brian Robinson Jr., Zach Charbonnet, JSN Hunter, Luther Burden, Kyle Williams, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts. I don't know. I kind of feel like when I've been drafting Bowers a lot in 2025 in the second round, and I've been drafting Trey McBride a lot. And I feel like I've built amazing teams doing that, and I feel like I haven't missed a beat by going early tight end. But lately, I have to admit, I feel like either my running back stable or my wide receiver stable is starting to feel really thin when I do go early tight end. And I feel like the shift is happening in ADP with some of these guys that we're not getting anymore later. Like getting Travis Hunter later allowed us to get a team we thought was amazing, even going early tight end. As some of our sleepers have climbed up the ADP board and we're not stealing them all away in the same draft, I'm starting to feel a little bit differently about it now. I'm going to time out. I'm going to go. I'm taking 4 quarterbacks. I normally don't do that.
You still like DK over Zay Flowers and Dynasty?
Yeah, by a lot. By a lot.
Too bad Flowers is in a different team or system. I like him a lot. But
Aaron says JSN doesn't need an emoji. I don't know if I'd say that, but there might be a player or two that I want to have an emoji over him, I will admit. But I don't know. Taking an emoji away from JSN feels wrong. But there's other players that I feel like do need them. Like if we were to take a player away, let's say, because we only get so many emojis. I'll have to check and see if we open up a new spot, but they're very stingy with them. It's wild. When you get to a certain point, they start giving you them like after like 250 additional. Like they're too, especially given some of them, some of the memberships don't renew all the time. So then you lose some, you gain some, you lose some, you gain some. But I think we're at a point where we need, it says 68 more members needed to unlock a new emoji. So we're getting close, but they're very stingy with them. And the problem is when let's say somebody drops 60 emoji or 60 memberships right now, it doesn't really register until the morning, and then we could have 50 drop in the morning. And so you never really, sometimes I look and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought I opened up an emoji, and then I don't have. Then I'm down 20 again. So like it's kind of a wild game sometimes, but it's weird that they limit you so much to them. It's like somebody drops 100, 200 gifted memberships and it doesn't open one up is wild.
Oh. Yeah, that is odd. Especially I guess they don't track it, but considering how many gifted memberships there are and how often the emojis get used. I
think they and it makes sense, I guess, to a degree. Like when you click on it and there's this long list, it makes it kind of difficult, I suppose. They're thinking like make it easy on the user. I don't know. 17. What are we at here? At 18. What do I need? I know I'm missing.
Was this your last round?
Yeah, I mean, my wide receivers are pretty good. JSN, Hunter, Burden, Kyle Williams, Michael Wilson, Yoshi Voss. I mean, probably need running backs. Bejan, RJ Harvey, Brian Robinson Jr., Zach Charbonnet. Maybe I go with a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt.
Yep. What were you going to say, but I didn't want to say it.
Or Brashard Smith and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt.
What do you get? Is it McBride and Pitts?
There it makes sense that you got Robinson. If Robinson goes down, Merritt's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said it. Guy sniped me right there. You son of a bee, bro.
Come on.
He was like 8 running backs down. He was not only not draftable according to the ADP. He was like the 8th running back down. He was like the 20th, 30th player down. Freaking people, bro. Snipers. Gotta be kidding me.
I might miss this, but what's your stance on projected points versus ADP.
I mean, I don't look at anybody else's projected points. I could give two craps about what a system or anybody thinks about a player.
So flawed.
Yeah, I don't even look at that. It's not something you should consider.
Especially the rookies.
You don't even know
Rookies, they give no credit.
who's feeding that in. You know, who's making that. No, you can't go off projections.
Well, yeah, this is why I asked the question.
Yeah, no, I mean,
yeah,
I didn't mean that as in a negative way to you. I just meant.
Oh no, I didn't take it that way.
That's a good question.
It was just from a standpoint of
Great question.
When you're talking about ADP and they might be reaching, you know, I don't know that the projected points should have that much value, but if you're looking at the ADP, that might be a deciding factor, especially if you're using the underdog. But I get your point.
Yeah, because I mean, let me just give you the example. If you go to Underdog and we click on rankings and I look at NFL and I pull up 2025 season and I go to let's go to Trey Henderson, for example. Where is he at? He's so far down. I mean, their ADP, the ADP is probably going to have. They don't have projection. Yeah, they have a projection for 166.5 points, which would be 166.5 divided by 17 is 9.79 points a game. I mean, they're really not expecting Henderson to do a lot. Like, so you can't use that. The ADP doesn't always match up with it either. So if we look at like 166, let me look at a couple players below him. Connor's projected for 195. So the ADP and projected points have no correlation at all. So you got two things fighting against each other. One thing is you don't even know how it's being calculated. There's no one tells you what the projections are based off of. Are they based off last year's stats with a deviation? Are they, you know, just going off the average? I'm gonna probably clear the phone line off. That clicking is getting really bad. Let me when I get more people on, it starts clicking. Let me go to Bruce real quick. Bruce, final thoughts. Hits.
My final thoughts are it was a great show in Egbuka season.
Egbuka season, baby. All right, we'll see you later, Bruce. Appreciate you. Bruce to the moon. DJ, final thoughts, my boy.
No, I think you take Hunter at 2 and trade up if you can to get Egbuka. Good stuff, my man. Appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate you, DJ. Thank you. Good questions. Ron Navy, final thoughts.
Yeah, check out your IG. Doesn't relate to this football, but it's some information for you. You can hit me up later if you want.
All right, thank you, Ron. See you.
All right, later, Travis. Later, guys.
Deuce. Travis, final thoughts?
No, I'm good. I think Cole will drop a couple more super chats. So
yeah, he says.
Talk to you
later. I'll message you after. Let's see here. We got Pitts is so cheap now. Solid tight end 2. Got tons of them. Yep. Coble, thank you for dropping super chats all night long. Thank you to all of you who've dropped super chats. Haven't drafted much Michael Wilson. You like him then? I do because, and it's not somebody I'm like predicting him to just be the best receiver in the world. It's just they like him. They like him a lot, and he's looking really fluid and smooth and quick. And I just like what I see. He's really, really good footwork and just really worked on his mechanics and his route running and his quickness and his speed. And I remember seeing him on the field and I just thought, you know, I was looking at some footage of him and I'm like, wow, who is this? Because, you know, you couldn't see what number it was right away. And I'm like, the footwork and that release, he's doing really well. And it's like, that's Michael Wilson. He looks great. He looks fantastic. And Kyler says he's going to have 1,000 yards. I'm not necessarily saying that that's going to happen because Kyler said it. But Kyler's like he's going to take a big step forward. And then you remember back before MHJ was drafted, Michael Wilson was being kicked around as the future wide receiver 1 of the Cardinals, meaning that he had an upside to be a top 25 receiver, you know? And that was in the cards. Like, he could be one of those special kids, maybe. And then, you know, he gets stepped over and now everybody runs away from him. I like him. I think he's got a lot of upside as, like, one of your last wide receivers in best ball. Coble, you're a machine. Thank you. Rock out. First and final thoughts, my boy.
I think Egbuka is gonna be him. He's a stud, and he had like 1,000 yards and all that, and he'll take over.
Yes,
and
sir.
Can I tell you my bad team?
Tell me your bad team.
All right.
Hit me with it.
So far, Dak, Lawrence, Rodgers quarterback, Herbert, Jenkins, Warren, Najee Harris, Grendo, Sampson. Then wide receiver, Lamb, Rice, DK, Samuel, Kyle Williams, tight end, Bowers, Ertz.
I like it, bro. Hey, Rock Out, I'm tempted to... So I got a couple really, really exciting things that I don't want to tell anybody about. Okay. Brewing for the show. But probably going to take a couple weeks for one of these things to be ready to announce, you know, show. But I'm going to be moving a couple small things around in the studio. Now, I've enjoyed this chair for a while. And if you remember, I had some back problems. I kept pulling my back out. And ever since I got this chair, I haven't really pulled my back out. So it's probably a good thing. I do have what I used to call the king chair over in the corner. It's a massive chair. It's probably the most comfortable chair I've ever owned. But not necessarily comfortable for sitting upright and doing things in it. But I need to make room, and I'm doing things and moving things around the studio. What do you think, Rock Out? Stick with this chair? I kind of need to move this chair. So I either have to take the king chair out of the studio, put it in the living room or somewhere else, not have it in here. It's my favorite chair. Or do I roll with this chair, which makes me more business-like? This is more gamer. I get to swivel around. What are we doing? I need some advice. What are we doing? We could try it out tomorrow.
Keep the one with the swivel.
What if we try out the other chair tomorrow?
All right, let's try it out and see how we feel about it tomorrow.
Yeah, see how we do. Because I need to open up space over there in the corner of my office, my studio. So I've got the workout stuff over there too. It's getting crowded. I got clothes piled up all over. It's a mess. So we gotta clean things up. I got some things I'm doing. I'm moving around stuff. I had to move the TV over there, and it's just crowded over there. What's everybody thinking on the chair? Does anybody remember the other chair? I mean, this is very, very functional, I will say. And I do like swiveling a little bit, you know, especially when Gump's on the phone and I'm getting bored. I can go like this. I can do drills. I can do the DAC move. But the other chair, I can lay back in it too. It's really comfortable. It makes it hard to sit upright. But I don't know. I don't know that we've had all these angles in the studio shots with the big chair either. So maybe it'll be. Yeah, it's a big, sturdy throne. It is the chair PPR chair, king chair. Give the Todd Gurley over Achan and Kyron, to be honest. Give me Todd Gurley over Achan and Kyron, to be honest. I don't know what you gotta. Shots got to be fired at Todd Gurley. He's taking his beating. Question is, what are we making room for? That is TBA. That is TBA.
Yeah, for karate.
We'll try it. What else you got? Rock out. Any other questions before we go?
Nah, I think I'm good. Appreciate it.
All right, my man.
All right, cool.
All right, later. Aaron says, don't roll with the chair that hurt your back. Well, here's the thing, though. I wasn't working out a lot, and so my back was weak. But I have support with this one, so there is a possibility if I go back to the other chair, I could have back problems return. Why don't we try it tomorrow? We'll try this chair tomorrow. all day live streaming of you cleaning. Maybe. You know, I thought about it. If I ever add on to this house and I could turn this whole section of this part of the house into more studio, I could have like a pool table in the other room, TVs all over the wall, and then cameras set up, and I could just click a button, walk into the other room. Mics could be hanging from the ceiling, and I could just ramble, play pool, ramble, walk back in here, kind of meander back and forth. But we'll see. All right, we'll try the chair out. I might move it tonight and see and do a little couple test shots. I mean, this is a good chair. The other chair's lower, so that I got to lower the camera, and I'm sitting lower. But kings don't always sit. Kings kind of sit to the side, and it is a king chair. We'll figure it out. I'll see you all tomorrow. Appreciate you all. Thanks for drafting with me. Don't forget, if you want to draft with us tomorrow night, get on over to Underdog. Promo code Smitty. The link is pinned in the live chat. The link's in the description of the video. I'm live whenever news breaks. We'll be drafting tonight, so make sure you click that link. Use code Smitty. The link inserts code Smitty for you. Match your deposit 50% all the way up to 1,000. Don't forget to sign up now so you're not scrambling. I will start moving the chair and see. Last time I tried it, I didn't like it. I moved it back. So I have a feeling I'm not going to. I just don't want to take that chair out of the room. I can always rotate. I'm going to try moving it now. All right, see you all.